Kondo Titi Timothy Abaloa and the Mayor Nanjin Kenneth, alongside the 5 others, lost their lives after their vehicle was destroyed by a roadside bomb planted by alleged separatist fighters. The incident occurred yesterday, March 2. The suspects reportedly opened fire on the DO's vehicle minutes after it ran over an explosive device. Reports say there was no government service unit patrol team in the area during the attack. The separatist fighters are said to have used guns and rocket-propelled grenades during the assault on the DO and his convoy, leading to casualties. The Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji, has handed over 40 new vehicles to some administrative authorities in the country. This was on Wednesday, March 2, 2022. The Toyota Fortuna vehicles handed to some senior divisional officers and divisional officers in the country are a special gift of the head of state, Paul Biya. The gesture, he said, aims at facilitating and ameliorating the working conditions of the administrative authorities. While handing the keys of the vehicle, he cautioned the officials on how they should take care of the gifts. The Minister of Basic Education, Professor Laurent Serge Etundi Ngwa, has disbursed funds to be used in the treatment of the pupil who was recently violently beaten by a primary school teacher. He made the announcement on the one of a working visit in Douala, where he visited some primary schools. Von Quinta tells us more.
Thursday, February 24, 2022, videos of a teacher violently beating up a pupil with a machete, whip, hammer and pepper surfaced on social media. The act, described by many as barbaric, took place in a primary school in Douala, Cameroon's economic capital. It is against this backdrop that Cameroon's Minister of Basic Education, Professor Laurent Serge Etundi Ngwa, paid a visit to Douala Monday, March 1, 2022, to ensure the safety of the pupil, take necessary measures and equally visit other primary schools in the region.
Dans l'internet, à la télévision, tout le monde a vu ça.
It was on the internet and television. Everybody saw the torture. That's why we came to check the school and send a letter to this effect. As for the boy Isaac, funds will be disbursed to the governor of the Littoral region, who will make sure the boy is fine. Minister Laurent Serge Etundi used the opportunity to comfort the boy who was tortured by his teacher. He equally visited other institutions in Douala, one of which is Groupe Scolaire Bilingue Espérance Divine, located in Douala 4 subdivision, where a majority of pupils are internally displaced from the northwest and southwest regions. He attested the school is of good learning standard. Minister Laurent also visited Government English Primary School Ngwele in Bonneberry, Douala 4, that had been abandoned in terms of infrastructure, with pupils studying in an old and dilapidated structure. He promised the structure will be reconstructed. We are going to arrange this school in Ngwele. We will make it better. That's what we want to do. Basic Education Minister Laurent Serge Etundi Ngwa was received yesterday by Governor of the Littoral region, Divisional Delegate for Basic Education, other administrative and judicial authorities.
Workshop organized against killer robots has taken place in the nation's capital. The workshop, organized recently by the non-governmental organization Women's International League for Peace and Freedom, aims at putting an end to all forms of autonomous lethal weapons. Eileen Sama tells us more.
In its fight against the development of autonomous weapon systems, also known as killer robots, the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom, dubbed WILF Cameroon, has launched a national campaign to that effect.
About the lethal autonomous weapon system, we are looking at how the world is being dominated by the conflicts. We have conflicts in our country, in our continent, in the world. There are conflicts everywhere. And there is a risk that all kinds of weapons are used in those conflicts. And the lethal autonomous weapon systems, commonly known as killer robots, they pose a major threat to human life. That's why we are looking at our national legislation to see if it takes in consideration these weapons. And if it's not the case, what we can actually do to integrate it in our legislation.
It is important to note that WIF Cameroon is also targeting experts on artificial intelligence, CSOs, and the government of Cameroon in its advocacy for the campaign against lethal autonomous weapon systems. Guy Blaise Fekap, coordinator of WIF Cameroon, highlights.
We have here the government representative, we have civil society organizations, and we also have experts who work in the fields of artificial intelligence and innovation technologies, and they support our advocacy to have a law in our country that prohibits the use of lethal autonomous weapon system. And beyond, we also want to see what our country is taking as steps to contribute to the international advocacy that is to aim at banning the lethal autonomous weapon systems.
The one-day training workshop on killer robots took place in Yaoundé, the nation's capital, and has been running for years now, organized by WIF Cameroon every year since the creation of the NGO, which works for the promotion of peace and security in Cameroon and beyond.
Member of Parliament Aminatu Abo has donated benches in some schools in Ngwa in the Adamawa region of the country, a gesture which she says is a part of a project to rehabilitate and foster infrastructural development of schools. Raka Kebi.
Honorables députés, les populations de la commune de Ngwa sont heureuses non seulement de vous avoir parmi elles ce jour, mais surtout de savoir que vous n'êtes pas venus les mains vides.
Under the project of transforming the basic education sector, construct, rehabilitate and improve infrastructural development of schools, Member of Parliament for Ngwa, Honorable Aminatu Abo, has distributed over 100 benches to primary schools in the subdivision. The distribution exercise took place last Monday at the courtyard of the DO's office in Ngwa, in the presence of the divisional officer, the inspector of basic education and other local and administrative officials. This gift is part of the micro-project grants of the MP for Ngwa.
Je voudrais exprimer à nouveau toute ma joie d'être ici dans la ville de Ngwa.
As a member of parliament, it is my duty to enable children attend school in a conducive environment.
Du cadre et du bien-être de nos jeunes enfants à l'âge d'aller à l'école.
It is a gesture that comes from my heart to offer these benches to schools. It is simply to enable children to study.
Et pour moi, le premier geste d'une série que je voudrais offrir à nos jeunes frères de ces différents établissements.
The divisional officer for Ngwa, Fabrice Bissa, calls on elites of the subdivision to emulate the footsteps of the MP. On behalf of the beneficiaries, the head teacher appreciated the MP's gesture. We have received the gift from the MP, Honorable Aminatu Abo, with plenty of joy in our hearts. Before, we did not have good and sufficient benches in our schools, but this donation will certainly help our children study conveniently. We are thankful. Knowledge is power, and with such gestures from conscious Cameroonians, education will be promoted and nation building is assured.
Following the postponement of examination dates in schools, some primary school pupils appear relaxed. The reason for the postponement of examinations mentioned in this report, signed Colette Loom.
The atmosphere in most schools in the nation's capital are still relaxed. Usually, the second term is the shortest term in the school year calendar. But this year, there has been an alteration as the government increased the duration of studies this time around. What could be accountable for this change?
Actually, it was a very short term, but it has been added. It's no longer short because we were to close in March. 3 weeks have been added, so we are going to close by in April. So we are still a bit relaxed, if I should say so. Yeah, but nevertheless, the kids are doing well. They took some of our time in school since most of the government schools were closing at 1. And I'm sure they want to catch up with the program of second term.
as change is constant, there is hope pupils and students will take advantage of the added time this school term to study hard. Those in examination classes in the English subsystem and French subsystem of education will therefore burn their midnight candles as they prepare for the general certificates of education.
You need to be determined, you need to be focused, you need to be attentive and brave enough to determine whether it's success or it is failure, because all this thing is determination. You are the one to determine if you're to fail or if you're to pass. So in order to make it in your exams, you need to first of all do a timetable for yourself, you do a schedule for yourself, you read on the topics and lessons of your exams. Avoid cramming. You read and understand. When I mean read and understand, meaning you read something and explain it in your own words, meaning you don't cram, you don't sing a song like you sing. And you also need to read past questions and you answer the past questions. You ask yourself questions and you answer them by yourself. And you need to be stress-free. You need to totally be stress-free, and you keep away anything that's going to distract you from reading or from understanding.
As advice to pupils and students,
they make sure they study well and they are on time, because we also notice that this second term many kids and pupils come late.
In the meantime, pupils and students are thus called upon to not relent effort in studying extremely hard towards these term examinations and public exams. Meanwhile, parents and guardians should endeavor to sacrifice some time to put these learners intact as teachers impact them with knowledge.
And out of the country, Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari has approved $8.5 million for the immediate evacuation of about 5,000 Nigerians caught in the Russia-Ukraine war. According to the Nigerian news agency, majority of the affected Nigerian citizens are currently taking refuge in Poland, Romania, Hungary, and Slovakia. The Minister of State for Foreign Affairs of Nigeria, Zubairu Dado, alongside the Humanitarian Minister, Sadia Farouk, made the information known to the State House correspondents at the end of a virtual meeting of the Federal Executive Council. He stated that Air Peace and Max Airlines have been contracted to provide free aircrafts and run as many shifts as possible to facilitate their evacuation. We've come to the end of today's edition of Prime Flash, produced by Ngwa Desmond. Thanks for watching, faithful viewers. You have details of these stories and more news stories on 3:30 p.m. Prime Info with Gladys Bomotongina, and at 6:30 p.m. Prime News with Fon Quinta. Coming up next is In the House with Eileen Sama and her ladies. Have a nice time.